Hi everyone, Vladimir is here, and since we're going to the GameOn show, I think it's a good idea if I give a brief description of the game by actually playing through the first 5 minutes and showing what players can expect from the game. First, the game starts with a simple introduction to the battle. It is like a small gimmick, just to showcase what players will be able to achieve later on. The player is given 4 bigger ships that fight against smaller enemy ships that stand absolutely no chance. The fight happens by itself, but player can participate if he wants to. After this fight ends, your NPC character tells you that you should progress to the next galaxy. And at this point, the game is gradually starts to introduce its mechanics to you. First, you need to build buildings, but to do this, you need to gather metal. And we started by showing the tutorial to the player that he needs to gather the metal. And he just needs to click on the asteroids. After he clicked enough, there's an option to make the process a bit more automatic, essentially requiring the player to build a mine somewhere. So after he builds the automatic mine, he can click on it to give the energy to the mine, and then the mine starts mining. So as long as player wants to gather new metal, he needs to be clicking on this mine. And the idea is that after he gathers metal, he can automate another step of the process. Instead of clicking himself, he can build the solar panel, which gives energy automatically. And as you can see, the value is above us, starting to grow. The energy is starting to increase. The metal is growing organically by itself. And the player can influence the rate the metal is achieved by clicking on the asteroids. But he can also upgrade the mine, which will increase the energy consumption, but metal production to 2 to second. But yeah, after he gets enough metal, he is advised to build a lab. And the lab is actually the building that allows the progression in the game. It unlocks new technologies that optimizes the production. And after you build the lab, it kind of consumes a lot of energy, and the player is presented with a tutorial to upgrade his solar panel. The energy that produced by solar panel goes to almost every building, which is required to function properly. If there's no energy, the mines don't give metal, and the other production buildings, like fuel platform that we're going to build, is not going to give you fuel. So yeah, after this, the player is introduced to the concept of fuel platform. In order to gain more fuel to progress to space later on, he needs to build it. And it costs 80 metal, so it takes some time to get, and the player can use the long knowledge of his upgrade functions to upgrade his mines to increase the speed of the acquisition. And right now, the game actually asks you to build the Star Travel, which is the upgrade that allows you to launch ships into space combat. But as we can see, it's quite expensive now, but the other upgrades are not so expensive. For starters, for example, the sharpened tentacles upgrade should give us the edge when we mine meteors and give us much more metal. This will allow us to achieve the metal gathering results faster. And we can see that we lack energy, and the gathering rate was pretty low, so we upgrade the energy, and the same goes for fuel. It's just not fast enough. After we reach 100 energy, we will be able to upgrade our starport, at least research the starport. And after we research the star travel upgrade, we are capable of building our starport. So we need to build the metal first. The starport costs 200 metal. And the idea is that it allows you to launch ships into space. The new UI element is added, which you can use to build ships. Right now, as we can see, we don't have enough resources for those ships. So I'm closing the ship panel for now, gathering a bit more resources, upgrading my mine, and the solar panel to adjust to that, because the starport requires quite a lot of energy. And after this is done, we're just waiting for resources to accumulate. I can click faster in order to get more metal. But yeah, this anticipation to go into space this is something that I'm working on. And right, after I got enough metal, I just built 3 ships, and then I can finally launch the space. And the space combat is used as a progression in the game. As you fight the enemies, you gain experience, and this experience can be used to upgrade your ships and progress further into the game by unlocking much more easier ways to get metal, to get resources, to get to tougher enemies, and eventually to move to other galaxies and conquer the universe. And the upgrades also unlock the abilities on your ships. So, for example, those small fighters, they will start to auto-heal after level 15. And there's also the torpedo ability unlocked, which is used for against bigger ships, which will just allow you to micromanage your units, which is rewarded. As you can see, the battles are automatical, and the idea behind it is that if you want to play it as an idle game, this will work, but if you want to be a bit more involved, the micro is actually rewarded, so you will feel like your efforts are not going to waste. So as you can see, my torpedo ability is unlocked. If I launch it, it misses because it's used mostly to hunt larger ships. But yeah, let me just try again, and I think this concludes my presentation for now. So let me see if torpedo is flying correctly. I'm launching the torpedo. It hits the enemy and it instantly explodes. So yes, that's pretty much it for today. Thank you for watching. This concludes my review of the Lazy Galaxy gameplay. Still work in progress, but fundamentals are there. And have a nice week ahead of you. Vladimir is out. Bye.